All right, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Let's keep it a Wednesday. Let's not try to turn this into a Monday. This is the middle of the week. So everyone should be happy because it's almost Friday. All right, these are the rules of the 187 District Court. You are in a courtroom. So whether you're at your home, at the jail, at your work, you're in a courtroom. If you do not behave as though you are in a courtroom, and if you behave inappropriately, your Wednesday is going to become a Monday. Because what's going to end up happening is you're going to be required to appear in person in the 187 District Court. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa. It's on the 4th floor. So that means that you're going to have to catch a via. If you catch a via, they don't give change. And I guarantee you, you don't have the exact change for the via bus. You may have to get an Uber or a Lyft. If you drive downtown, you're going to find a lot of construction. You're going to find even more one-ways. And if you're lucky enough to find parking, you're going to find that the cost of parking has increased. So if you're on bond and at your house and at your work, you're not to be doing laundry, you're not to be doing chores, you're not to be changing diapers, you're not to be eating breakfast. I haven't had breakfast this morning. Many of the people on this Zoom screen hadn't had breakfast this morning. We would love to be eating breakfast right now, but the reason why we're not doing it is because we are in a courtroom. You need to do that on your own time. If you are at work, you need to let your employer know that you need to take a break and you need to find a place that's stationary and a place that's quiet. And if everyone could do everyone a favor, please find a stationary place. When you move around and go up and down, it causes vertigo and people to get nauseous. That's one of the reasons why I didn't really like the filming of Apocalypse Now, because there was too much movement. The other thing, to all the inmates, you are not allowed to use the chat box. You are not allowed to use the internet. If you do any of those things, you will be sent back. And what that will mean for you is that we're probably going to see you in 30 to 90 days because you know there are staffing issues. To all the attorneys, if you have a plea bargain agreement, no matter how small you think that plea bargain agreement is, you need to put it in the chat box to the court coordinator. She's listed as Ferguson coordinator. Please do not make a mistake and send that chat to somebody else because she will need to get the proper paperwork to you or your client. If your client is on bond, you will need to put your client's email address in the chat box to her so paperwork can go to the appropriate places, and the prosecutors will need your client's email address. To all of the defendants who are on bond, do not allow your screen to go dark except for one reason. And that one reason is that you are signing paperwork. Otherwise, your screen should not go dark. And make sure you're dressed appropriately for court. If you're dressed inappropriately for court, your fault, my fault, whoever fault it is, you're going to be required to come downtown. So that means I don't want to see anyone in any bathrobes or anything else. You need to have a shirt on and you need to have pants on. Otherwise, you're going to find that your Zoom privileges are going to be permanently revoked. I'm going to open the breakout rooms. When I open breakout rooms, it's going to invite everyone to go to a breakout room. Do not, I repeat, do not go to a breakout room unless I specifically call you by name and assign you to a breakout room. Defendants and those who are accused, your attorney is probably going to want to speak to a prosecutor before they speak to you. So please do not raise your hand asking if you're supposed to go to a breakout room, because if you are not requested to go to a breakout room, that means they don't want you in the breakout room just yet. To all the attorneys, if you could do me a favor, if you could add to your name, if you're able to, the name of your client and whether or not it's criminal trial division or family violence, that will make things move quicker. If you aren't able to do that, then I will do that on my end. Defendants, your name will not be called. Your attorney's name will be called. If you do not hear your attorney's name, it is because your attorney is Zooming in another courtroom, or either they needed to appear in person in another courtroom. Just be patient. They will be here as quickly as possible. And if at all possible, you will get a chance to speak to your attorney today. So everyone, let's make this a great Wednesday. Let's be patient. I know everyone has some pockets. Pull it out as needed and share it as needed. This is the order in which attorneys will appear. John Young, Monica Guerrero, Anthony Zamora, Manny Rodriguez. I don't know if that's the attorney or if that's an accused. Martin Guerra, Matt Stohansky, Christine McDonald, Nathan Samain, Robert Maurer, Scott McCrum, Leo Gonzalez, Raymond Martinez, Jonathan Watkins, Charles Bonk, Derek Edmonds, Joel Perez, Stephen Gilmore, Kadir Gunnar, Alfonso Cabanas, Albert Gutierrez, Megan Enriquez. Is there any defense attorneys whose name I have missed?
Barry. Ronald Geyer.
Okay, Barry Hitchens.
Right, if I could be put in.
And Rusty.
No, time out. And Rusty Geyer?
Correct.
Anyone else? All right, so that's the order in which attorneys will appear. When I call your name, if you can let me know if your client is criminal trial division or family violence. The prosecutors have the ability to move throughout the breakout rooms. Think of those breakout rooms as when you go to the doctor's office. When you go there and they call you to the back, you're excited because they're seeing you right away. They're just sending you to another room so they can check your weight and your blood pressure. So keep your patience good so your blood pressure won't go up. All right, John Young.
Hello, madam. I have three clients in here today.
Okay.
I have Rita Gomez, criminal trial. I have Robert Alvarado of family violence. And I believe Jesse Esparza is also family violence.
Okay, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Monica Guerrero.
Good morning, Your Honor. I have criminal trial division and family violence.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anthony Zamora.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Family violence on Kadir Gunnar. I think I've been conferring with Ms. Hayden.
Okay. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 5.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Manny Rodriguez, I don't know if that's the attorney or not.
That's my client, Your Honor.
All right. Then Martin Guerra.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Thank you for changing your name.
Thank you.
I'm going to send you to number
6.
Yes.
No, I've got CTD case.
All right. See, when you change your name, I can just say, hi, good morning, and send you immediately to a breakout room. So you're in number 6.
Thank you.
Sure. Matt Stohansky.
Yes, Your Honor. Jerome Bizarre, CTD.
All right. I'm going to send you to number 7. Christine McDonald.
Good morning, Judge. I'm with regular CTD.
All right. Thank you for changing your name. I'm going to send you to number 8. Nathan Slamane.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mr. Hitchens and I are both on this morning for Chris Saxon. He's got 2 cases and I was just retained on one this past Monday. He's got a family violence and a special crimes case.
Who is the special, when you say special crimes, what's
It's a sex assault, Judge.
Oh, okay, then that's family violence unless it's something else. All right, any CTD or no?
No, Judge.
All right, so Mr. Hitchens and Mr. Slamane, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 9.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome. Robert Maurer.
Judge, I have 2 family violence cases as indicated by my rename.
Yeah, but you didn't add the defendants' names.
They're really long last names. It would be,
Okay.
I would run out of space. It's for Geronimo Hernandez and Jeremy Rothenay.
All right, I'm going to send you to number 10. Scott McCrum.
Good morning, Judge. CTD.
All right. Thank you for changing your name. I'm going to send you to 11.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Leo Gonzalez, thanks for changing your name. I'm going to send you to 12.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning. Raymond Martinez, thank you for changing your name. I'm going to send you to Lucky Breakout Room number 13.
Thank you, Judge.
Don't make it unlucky.
I hope not.
Jonathan Watkins.
Good morning, Your Honor. It's a CTD case, Obed Urdiales, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hello, Mr. Urdiales. All right, Jonathan, I'm going to send you to number 14.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Charles Bach, thank you for changing your name. You're pro tem. Who is the other person with you?
Oh, well.
All right, I'm going to send you and Joel to number 15.
Thank you.
Let me see. So Joel, if you'll go to 15 with Mr. Bach. Derek Edmonds.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Thanks for changing your name. I'll send you to number 16.
Thank you.
Stephen Gilmore.
Yes, Judge, I'm covering for Scott Simpson. It's Theodore Buchanan. It's going to be a cybercrime, special crime. Raul Jordan has it. Not sure if he's on yet.
Yes, Judge, I'm here.
Oh, there you go. Brilliant.
Jordan. Thank you. All right, let me make you a co-host. I'm going to send you to number 17, Stephen.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Alfonso Cabanas.
Good morning, Judge. I have a family violence case, but I need to speak with my client who is in custody.
Okay. Is this sentencing? You say sentencing. All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to send you to number 18, and let me see if I see your client. Is it Victor Enriquez?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Victor Enriquez, are you 16F? Because sometimes they don't put the full names. Let me see. Victor Enriquez, could you raise your hand for me, please? All right, Mr. Enriquez, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 18 with your attorney. And Alfonso Cabanas, I'll send you to 18. Albert Gutierrez, thank you for changing your name. I'll send you to 19. That's a lucky breakout room number. Megan Enriquez.
Yes. Good morning, Judge. I'm here for John Kuntz on Everett Gonzalez and it's CTD.
All right. Thank you for changing your name. I'll send you to number 20.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Rusty Geyer.
It's Judah Rosales, Your Honor. Family violence.
All right. I'm going to send you to lucky breakout room number 21.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fernando Cortez.
Yes, Your Honor, we were set for trial with Alberto Trevino, Your Honor.
Okay, was that criminal trial division or family violence?
I don't know, Judge, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. Let me look. Because as you know, jury trials have been suspended. And I'll need, I'm sorry, it's family violence?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. Ms. Ferguson will meet you in number 1 with someone from family violence to confer on a jury trial date.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Miguel Nahara.
Good morning, Judge. I'm here on Gavino Vada. It's a CTD case. Mr. Nisbet and I need to confer with Norma on a date.
All right, I'll send you to number 1 as well.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, is there any other attorney who's not been assigned to a breakout room yet? Thank you. Daniel Vela, who do you have?
Judge, I have Michael Avery. It was a recall from yesterday. I conferred yesterday with Marcus Sanders, and I don't see him available, but we have an offer that they made that we'd like to accept.
Okay, all right, we will, if you'll put in the chat box what the plea agreement is, and who was the attorney? Was it, you said Marcus Sanders?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, as soon as Marcus Sanders, let me see. Marcus, yes.
There he is.
They're saying that they'll accept a plea agreement.
Okay. Marcus, you gave us 2. We could go to breakout room. I'll tell you which one we'll take.
Yes.
All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 22.
Judge, I do have a mediation that I did not, that's going to be an all-day mediation. So I could go in and out of that mediation, but as soon as I get the paperwork, I'll get on it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other attorney who has not been sent to a breakout room?
Your Honor, I just showed up. This is Adrian Pettis. I
All
have
right.
a client who's there in court physically for an MTR.
Okay, what is your client's name?
It's Cynthia Cavazos, Your Honor. Cynthia Cavazos, Your Honor.
Is it family violence or criminal trial division?
It's a criminal trial, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll send you to breakout room number 23.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other attorney who's not been assigned to a breakout room?
Eduardo Jimenez.
All right, Eduardo Jimenez, who do you have?
I have Isaiah Gonzalez, family violence, Judge.
Eduardo, we don't have a docket if you're not present. I'm used to seeing you and Nathaniel Navy.
What's going on here?
Now I'm always like, where's Nathaniel Navy? So I'm like, where's Eduardo? All right, let me see. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 24.
All right.
Put some patience in your pocket because you know that's number 24.
Yes, ma'am, I know.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
All right, any other attorneys who've not been assigned to a breakout room?
I'll
All right.
come back from breakout room.
All right, yes, John Young.
Okay, I had 3 people. Miss Gomez is the easiest. She's a criminal trial division. I've talked with Miss Sparks. Neither one of us have had a chance to review the discovery. I just got hired recently.
Okay, just one moment. Let me grab the file. What's her full name, please?
Rita Gomez.
Okay.
She has 2 third-degree felony drug cases.
Are they all indicted?
No.
Okay.
There's 2 of them. One's indicted, one's not.
All right, let me look here. And let me do this because this will make it easier for me. All right, where's Miss Rita Gomez?
Should be in the courtroom.
All right, I have her listed as having a bond forfeiture. Did that happen?
I believe it did, and she was rebonded out.
Okay. All right, Miss Gomez, why didn't you show up back up for court? Because that's why it was issued.
Yes, I couldn't find a ride back to court.
All right, Mr. Young, what is going to be happening with this case?
Well, Ms. Sparks says that she's going to need to be able to review the documents, the discovery, make sure I've got it all, and then she's going to give me an offer sometime between now and the next setting.
All right, Brenda, do you see what, there she is. And let me see if Ms. Ferguson is back from the breakout room. Ms. Ferguson, could I have a reset date for Ms. Gamez? A 30-day reset, please, in the chat box. All right, Ms. Gamez, you're going to be back here on February 17th.
Okay.
At 9 a.m.
All right, ma'am.
And you can appear by Zoom. Do not leave the courtroom until you're given a reset form, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
And Ms. Gomez, would you give me a call when you're done with doing that?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, who is your next person?
I have a gentleman named Jesse Esparza. I am told by the prosecutor, Caitlin, that she was dismissing the case I was appointed on today. He has been re-indicted on a new case, and I am not on the appointment wheel, so I'm assuming someone else will be appointed on that case.
All right, then which case is she dismissing? Because he has two cases.
Correct. Let's see here.
Because he has an attempted sexual assault as well.
And the burglary charge is the one that I had been originally appointed on. Night Mag 535202.
All right, could someone, to the clerks, could you bring me please 2021 CR 10254 for Jesse Esparza? So you're saying that the burglary case is going to be dismissed?
I was told by Caitlin that she was dismissing it as we were speaking. So I just suppose it just hasn't gotten to your desk yet.
And do you know what is happening with the other case?
I do not. I am not appointed on that to the best of my knowledge. And I'm assuming I just got dragged in because I was still appointed on the other one. I didn't realize it had been dismissed.
Okay, let me look at to see if I have that.
I just sent it, Judge, the dismissal on that Berghab.
All right, and do you know what is happening with the other case, the 2021?
It's the rising out of the same offense or incident, Judge. It should have been what's charged now should have been charged originally. So it's a re-indictment. So that's pending trial now.
Okay. All right, then the other case has been dismissed and you're excused from that case. Ms. Ferguson, then Jesse Esparza, can you see if Mr. Young, before he was removed himself from the appointment wheel, if he was appointed on the new case, please? It's 2021 CR 10254. If you could check on that for me, please. Thank you. All right, we'll check on that. And what's the next case?
Robert Alvarado. We had made a counter offer to the prosecution and they have declined that. So I'm assuming we still are going to be set for trial.
All right, on that one, I'm going to need to send you to breakout room number 1 so that you can be, so that you can confer on a jury trial date.
Very well.
All right, and for the attorneys who are waiting to speak with me, if you have your video not on, what's going to end up happening is I can't spotlight you, so I can't see you. So Alfonso Cabanas, you'll need to have your video on.
Yes, Judge.
Fernando Cortez.
Yes, Your Honor, we have an agreed date of March the 8th on the
Just a second, Alberto Trevino. Why is your video off?
Something with the computer. It's from work, so I really don't use it that much. It's not letting me. Oh, there you go.
All right, you're not going to be allowed to appear by video anymore, Mr. Trevino. You're going to have to appear in court from now. You understand? So your Zoom privileges are going to be revoked. All right, what date do you have, Mr. Cortez?
I have March the 8th, Judge.
All right, Brenda, we're going to go on the record briefly. Court is calling 2021 CR 0149, State of Texas versus Alberto Trevino for the defense. Party for the defense, could you announce, please?
Yes, Your Honor, we're present and ready.
All right, and could you announce for the record your name, please?
This is Fernando Cortez for Alberto Trevino for the
All right, and are you,
defendant.
thank you. And are you Mr. Alberto Trevino?
Yes, ma'am, that's me.
All right, you were previously scheduled for trial for today, but because of the pandemic, jury trials have been suspended. Mr. Cortez, it's the court's understanding that you've agreed on a new jury trial date of March 8th. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Correct.
All right, so Mr. Trevino, you'll need to appear in the 187 District Court on March 8th at 9 a.m. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa. It's on the 4th floor and it's the 187 District Court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Right. And you'll need to be dressed for a trial.
Okay, I will.
All right, Mr. Cortez, if you don't have anything else with us, then the court will close the record.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Cortez, on the docket sheet, it shows that Martin Garza is the attorney.
We're co-counsel on that, Judge, but I'm lead counsel on that, please.
All right, thank you. We'll make sure that you're in the system.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you and your client are excused unless you have something else with us.
Thank you, Judge.
Sure. All right, Charles Blanc and Joel Perez. Which case is this?
Juan Reyes, Your Honor.
What's the name of the case?
It's Mr. Juan Reyes, Your Honor.
Is he in custody?
No, Your Honor, he's out on bond. If you can unmute yourself, Mr. Reyes.
All right, what is happening on Mr. Reyes's case?
We've conferred, Your Honor, and
Joel gave me some information on a potential new defense witness that I need to look into. So I'm going to contact the detective and see if I can get some more information on that might bring us to a resolution. And then he's also informed me he's starting a capital murder case in about a month that he needs to prepare for. So we need a setting, hopefully, probably sometime after that.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, so here's the thing. This case has been going on since 2020.
The capital murder that I have, Your Honor, has 4 complainants and it's been pending since 2018.
No, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but as you know, in this court, I don't like cases just to be sitting around. So Mr. Buck, when are you going to, when do you anticipate speaking to the witness?
Well, I've got to get my investigator involved, so probably I'm within the month.
Okay. So, Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Reyes, can you set this the first week in February, and let's just see where we are?
Your Honor, sorry to interrupt. I need to talk to my client. She's there in the courtroom, please.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a date, please? Just give me a moment. Ah, she's in a different room. All right, so this is the date I'm going to give you on Mr. Reyes. Calendar. All right, we're going to set it for February 4th. And that's to see where we are.
Judge,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I have a medical appointment in Houston that week that I have to be at, so I cannot attend Zoom that
Okay.
week. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. So, because I think January 31st is too soon. Is that too soon?
That is
Mr.
too
Buck?
soon, yes.
All right. So, the second week in February then? Is that
That's
good?
better. That's better for me, please.
All right, Mr. Perez, and this is just for the court to have an update on that day. So, which is the best date for you? Let me see, it's a Wednesday. I'll keep it on a Wednesday, February 9th.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so we'll come back on February 9th.
Okay.
And Mr. Bonk, you're the pro tem, and
I
Mr.
am.
Perez, you're the, okay. I want to make sure I have that written correctly.
I'm the good guy. For once.
I'm glad I'm not wearing black today.
Hey, black is a great color. Don't let it be. Everyone, heroes do wear black.
Batman.
Sometimes. And sometimes they wear white. And Brenna, sometimes they wear purple or gray.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So what we're going to do on your case, then we'll come back on February 9th. If you all don't have anything else with the court, then you are excused.
Thank you,
Thank you, Your Honor. Is my client excused also, Your Honor?
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
he can show up again by Zoom.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You're welcome. You too.
Bye.
Okay, Mr. Raul Jordan, who is the person you were with?
Yes, Judge. I was conferring with Mr. Gilmore, Stephen Gilmore.
Okay. Mr. Gilmore, and it's Buchanan?
Yes,
Judge.
Theodore Buchanan, Judge. I'm just filling in for Scott Simpson, who's in trial in Medina County.
All right, what is happening with Mr. Buchanan?
Scott gave me a counter. Mr. Jordan is going to consider that counter. This is not a case that I worked super closely with Scott on as partners. So
Okay.
I don't know enough about the discovery to be able to, actively do anything with it. But if we can get a reset and plea deadline for Mr. Jordan to consider the counter, I'm hopeful that if we come back at the next setting, this is something that would be able to be worked out.
Well, when is Mr. Simpson going to be available?
He picked a jury yesterday. They start evidence this morning. It's a deadly conduct and an evading with a vehicle combined. So I wouldn't expect a long trial. But then I do know he's got a vacation notice in for because he's going up to take care of his mom's house in Jersey. I think the last week in January, first week of February. So somewhere in the middle end of February.
It's just so that I can have a firm date from Mr. Simpson.
Okay.
And then if he's still in jury trial at that time, of course, you know, the court is understanding that people can't be in two places at the same time. Although
Sure.
Brenda will tell you, women are expected to be in 3 places at the same time.
I hear you. I was on Zoom and in person and in federal court yesterday at the same time. So I get it.
See, there you go. Now, Zoom has taught men to learn what we've been doing all along, Brenda. All right, so guys, we're going to come back on January 19th at 9 a.m. and your client can appear by video.
Okay. Thank you so much, Judge. May we be excused?
Yes, you're excused. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much, Lauren.
You're welcome. Okay, Matt, you're raising your hand. Instead of doing the hand emoji, just give me a moment. Let me add some more attorneys who are raising their hand. Let me do this real quick. Okay, and everyone, I promise you, I'm working my way through the attorneys that have their hand raised. All right, Alfonso Cabanas, on your sentencing. Yes.
Good morning, Judge. I just confirmed and went over the PSI with Mr. Enriquez, and we are ready on the sentencing whenever the court has time.
All right, just give me a moment for that. Let me get the date set for other cases if they need date sets, and I'll take that up. All right, Martin Guerra.
Your Honor, I conferred with Marcus Sanders. However, I don't see my client signed on right now, and I just sent him a text message and called. If I could be excused to make an appearance in another court, and then also I will continue to try and contact my client to get him to sign on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Matt Stohansky.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Kazart is in the courtroom. Can I get sent in there to break out with him?
Yes, to the courtroom. If you could go to breakout room number 2, please.
John Young back with trial date.
All right, just give me a moment, please, Mr. Young. So, Mr. Stohansky, if you go to breakout room number 2.
Yes.
All right, and John Young, who is your trial date for, please?
Robert Alvarado.
And is this Robert Alvarado in custody?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Alvarado, can you unmute? Thank you. Mr. Young, what is the date you were given?
March 1st.
Okay.
I think it's somewhat optimistic, but
Oh, well, I mean, it could happen.
yes.
All right. Court is going to call 2020 CR 4628, State of Texas versus Robert Alvarado for the defense.
John Young.
All right. And are you Mr. Alvarado?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Alvarado, you were scheduled for jury trial today. However, jury trials have been suspended due to the pandemic. Your new trial date is going to be March 1st. Defense, my understanding, you conferred on that date.
And I have conferred and I have given the counter offer that Mr. Alvarado authorized me, and the state has rejected that.
All right. So, Mr. Alvarado, what will happen is you will be brought over to the 187 District Court for jury trial if you're still in custody. You'll be brought over in the clothing that you brought with you to the jail, the clothing that you were arrested in. If you wish to have clothing other than what you were brought to the jail in, you'll need to talk to your attorney about that. Mr. Young, if there are some issues with that, let the court know. We'll see what we can do to facilitate that. However, Mr. Alvarado, if you're released from custody, you'll need to appear dressed for trial at the 187 District Court, 300 De La Rosa on March 1st. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Do you need to speak with Mr. Alvarado anymore, Mr. Young?
No, I do not. I'll see him at the jail.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you let them know Alvarado 17E can go back, please?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Just one moment before you go, Mr. Young. All right. Then on your other case, Mr. Esparza, you are excused, Mr. Young.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So he'll need a new court appointed for that. And the court did receive the dismissal, and I've signed that dismissal.
You'll have a missive from me then, Your Honor.
All right. Have a great one. I hope the Magnolias do great this year.
I live in hope.
All right. Miguel Nahara, Mr. Vara.
Yes, Judge, we have been given a tentative date of February the 22nd for trial, Judge.
Okay. Let me find him on the docket. Brenna, do you happen to see Mr. There he is. And you say February 22nd?
Correct, Judge.
All right, the court is going to call 2019 CR 11408. Could I have defense announced, please?
Miguel Nájera for the defense, Judge.
All right, and are you Mr. Gavino Vara?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Mr. Vara, you were scheduled for a jury trial today. However, because of the pandemic, jury trials have been suspended. Your new jury trial date is February 22nd at 9 a.m. You'll need to appear dressed for trial in the 187 District Court. We're located at 300 De La Rosa on the 4th floor. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Nahara, do you have any objections to the February 22nd as the jury trial date?
No, Judge. I may ask to meet a little earlier to have some motions signed. I'll talk to the state. It's just the standard stuff. I just want to make sure your signatures are on there on my discovery motions and stuff. We may have done that already. I just want to double check.
All right. And anytime you want to have those motions heard, just speak with Ms. Ferguson and we'll make that happen.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you. You and your client are excused.
February 22nd.
Yes. All right, Derek Edmonds.
Hello, Judge. I have an update on the two cases.
All right. Who do you want to start with?
Let's start with Xavier Alcaraz. So in that case, judges give me a plea, but it requires upfront restitution. My client's going to give me the restitution today, this afternoon, in the form of a cashier's check. I then need to go down to the district attorney's office and make the upfront restitution payment to them. I'm hoping to be able to do that by tomorrow or Friday. I'm hoping to do it this week.
All right. So on Mr. Alcaraz, Ms. Ferguson, can we recall this on Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So on Mr. Alcaraz, we'll be back on January 14th.
And
all right. Just one moment.
Sure.
Mr. Alcaraz will be back on January 14th. You're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, who's your next client?
It is Robert Briggs.
All right, what is happening with Mr. Briggs?
The state was trying to get a hold of a complaining witness. They still have not been able to do so. Marcus has indicated to me that if he can't get a hold of him by, I guess, later this morning, he's going to dismiss the case.
I'm sorry, by when?
I guess later this morning. I guess I'm assuming by, he didn't give me a specific time, I'm assuming 11 or 11:30, somewhere in there.
All right, so let's do this. If you want to zoom back in at 11:30, that way I don't lose track of this.
Okay.
And we'll see where we are.
Okay. Can I go in a breakout room with Mr. Briggs real quick, Judge?
Is Mr. Briggs in custody or on bond?
He's in custody.
All right, let me see what room you are in. You are in 16. Mr. Briggs, could you go to breakout room number 16, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, Anthony Zamora.
Hi, Judge. I was just typing my little chat to Norma. So let me.
Okay.
Judge, I've conferred. I've actually just now been, I guess they sent me new discovery.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to take a look at it. I don't know what effect that's gonna have. What's the setting date as we proceed on this case?
All right, we were set for a jury trial. And so you're just getting the new discovery?
Yes.
All right, so.
In addition, Judge, this has got to be maybe the fourth prosecutor on this case because of the time frame and the delay, which is no fault of anyone's. And I need to make sure we discussed a couple of items that I've provided that she can't locate in the file, so I have to provide that again as well, or I'm willing to provide it.
All right, this is what we're going to do. Ms. Ferguson, on Kadir Gunner, can I have a 30-day reset, please? All right, we're going to come back on November 17th. I'm sorry, not November 17th, February 17th. That would be a long extension. All right, we're going to come back on February 17th.
Judge, if I may, one of the text requests that I received, there's some sort of child court going on that date specifically. Is there a way we can do a week after that? Like the following Thursday or even before that?
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can we have a date before then or either after, please?
If we could do February 24th, Judge, but I don't know what your docket looks like.
All right, she's giving me February 10th.
Okay, that's the prior Thursday. Okay.
All right, so this is what will end up happening on that date, Mr. Zamora. On February 10th, I'll make sure that you have all of your discovery and had a chance to review it. And then because there's been new discovery, I'll extend your plea deadline date and I will give you that plea deadline date on February 10th.
Okay, thank you, Judge. And Judge, my client is logged on.
Yes, he's here on the screen now.
Okay.
All right, you and your client are excused unless you have something else with me.
That's everything, Judge. Thank you. Have a great week.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, you too. And just one moment. All right, Eduardo Jimenez.
Yes, Judge. I conferred with Joe Ray and with my client Isaiah Gonzalez, and he'd like to stay on the trial docket at this point.
All right. Did you get a trial date?
I did not get a date, Your Honor.
All right. So I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. Please wait in there patiently.
Sure.
Because there are other people who have their hands raised, and Ms. Ferguson will be with you as soon as we get any dates that's needed here.
Sure. Okay.
Everyone, please make sure your audio is off for me. All right, Adrian Perez.
Hi, good morning, Judge. I have Cynthia Cavazos. It's a motion to adjudicate. The state wants to continue and extend her. However, we have a small wrinkle in the case. It looks like you were the defense attorney that originally pled her out. So I have no problem with you here in the case, but I don't think that you can.
No, I cannot. So just give me a moment on that, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Robert Maurer.
Judge, I talked to Michelle. I have on Mr. Rothenay that it's still going to be a trial. I just need a new date. But I wanted to confer with Mr. Hernandez. Geronimo Hernandez should be in jail, but I don't see him on here.
All right, we're going to find out what's going on with Hernandez. But before we do that, what I will do is I'll send you to breakout room number 1 so that you can get a jury trial date.
Judge, I think Mr. Hernandez may have made bond. Can you, if they can check real quick?
Yes. To the clerks, could you check on Robert Maurer's client, Mr. Hernandez, to see if he made bond, please?
Yes, Judge. Let me check real quick.
All right, Leo Gonzalez.
Yes, Your Honor. We usually get a new trial date. However, we also have a new indictment that's come down. The old indictment was just recently dismissed. And when I say recently, I mean this morning.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll send you to breakout room number 1 for a trial date.
Also, Your Honor, do we need to have my client rearranged on the new indictment?
Yes, just give me one moment. Okay, so let me send you to 1 and we're going to take care of all of that.
Judge, I think Mr. Hernandez is on bond and his number is no longer working. We sent him the link though, so I'm not sure how the court wants me to handle that.
Let's see if he shows up.
He's on bond, Judge. Sorry, I was chatting you really quick.
All right, thank you. We will see if he shows up, Mr.
I'll try to contact him, Judge, and can I guess, meet with Norma about Rothenay's date?
Yes, and she's actually in breakout room number 1. So I am going to send you to number 1 and you were in 10.
Thank you.
All right, Raymond Martinez.
Judge, I've conferred with the state. I've also relayed a new offer to my client, which he's still rejecting. So if I could get a trial setting date, that'd be great.
I'll send you to breakout room number 1.
Thank you,
You were
Judge.
in 13.
Yes.
Matthew Allen.
Yes, Judge, I conferred, and I just need trial dates for both cases.
And you were in number,
I think 7, room 7.
all right, I'll send you to number 1. Eduardo Jimenez.
Yes, Judge. So Joe Ray and I consulted with Norma, and looks like March 8th is going to be the date, the trial date. Yeah.
All right, just one moment. And is this your client who's on the screen now? Are you Isaiah Gonzalez? Raise your hand if you're Isaiah Gonzalez. Okay. All right, the court is calling 2019 CR 7912, State of Texas versus Isaiah Gonzalez. Can I have the defense announced for the record, please?
Eduardo Jimenez for Isaiah Gonzalez.
And are you Mr. Gonzalez? Could you unmute for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. It's my understanding that you're still requesting a jury trial. Is that correct, Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Defense, have you had a chance to confer on a new jury trial date?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
And what date would that be?
March 8th, 22.
All right, Mr. Gonzalez, you were scheduled for jury trial today, but due to the pandemic, jury trials have been suspended. So your new jury trial date is going to be March 8th at 9 a.m. If you are in custody, you will be brought over to the 187 District Court dressed for trial. You will be dressed in whatever clothing you were brought in at the jail. If you wish to have different clothing, you'll need to confer with your attorney to do a clothing exchange. Mr. Jimenez, if there are any issues with the clothing exchange, let the court know, and we will try to help facilitate that. Mr. Gonzalez, however, if you are released from custody, you will need to be in the 187 District Court dressed for trial on March 8th at 9 a.m. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa on the 4th floor. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. With that, we'll close the record. Mr. Jimenez, if you don't have anything else with us, you are excused.
All right. Thank you, Judge. Bye
Thank
now.
you. To the clerks, could you let the jail know that L11 can go back?
Yes, Judge.
And that's Gonzalez. Thank you. Jonathan Watkins.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me okay, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm back from the breakout room, Judge. Marcus and I were able to confer. He is going to be reaching out to the complainants regarding the restitution issue, and we would like a March date for trial setting, Your Honor.
Okay, why are we, with regards to restitution, is that going to make a difference on this case?
Judge, a change.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're on mute. I can't hear you. Your volume went down.
Or can you hear me now?
Yes.
Like that. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm aging myself, Your Honor. Anyway, I think it may change the landscape, but I don't want to speak for the state. He's going to look into it. But for right now, with that item being discussed, we had also agreed to a March date if that's possible.
What date did you all agree on? And was Ms. Ferguson with you on that date?
She wasn't with us, Judge, but I just heard the date of March the 8th. Is there any way we could do March the 15th?
You need to confer with the court coordinator. You know, Jonathan, I always tell everyone, if everyone stays in their lane, everything runs smoothly. So I don't try to do the court coordinator's job. I don't try to do the court reporter's job. You got to do that.
I have that written down on my whiteboard.
Yeah. Do you watch football?
Judge, I'm obsessed.
Okay.
Well, there was Deion Sanders spoke with a football player, and he's like, "Why is your team playing so well?" Like the football, our team is like a car, and he's like, "If you're a car, if you're going to be the tires, be the tires. Don't try to be the engine." He's like, "Everybody knows who the tires are," and so they asked Deion Sanders, "If you were a car in a football team, what part of the car would you be?" And he's like, "I'm the gasoline." He's like, "You can't go without me." So I stick with that. So I'm not going to try to set dates. I leave that to Ms. Ferguson.
Yes, ma'am. I'd be happy to talk to her.
All right. So I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. And let me see which you were in number 14. So if you'll go to 1 for me, we'll take care of that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Judge, I agree with Norma.
All right, Robert. So if you will go to number 1, Ms. Ferguson is in there.
Can I go to, please?
Yes.
Yeah, Judge.
That sounds like a great room.
Date from Norma.
Ms. Guerrero, are you going there for a jury trial date?
Yes, please.
Oh, yes.
I've conferred with Ms. Wilkes and I've conferred with Mr. Sanders.
All right, you're assigned to number 1 already. And everyone, just be very patient with me today because the Zoom is not working appropriately. So everyone, just be patient. I'm getting to everyone as quickly as I can. Okay, Nathan Slimane.
Good morning, Your Honor. Caitlin and I have spoken. I wanted to re-advise the court. I was retained on this about 48 hours ago. She has re-extended an offer. Mr. Hitchings is still counsel on the ABI second. I think there's an agreement that we're going to let the case that I have drive the train. There is some additional discovery that Caitlin said she was going to upload. I'd like some time to review what's been done. Probably some pretrial motions need to be filed, and I'd like to discuss the state's offer with Mr. Saxon.
Okay. Let me find your client.
And Mr. Hitchings had to run to the 379th. I told him I would cover for him while he was doing that.
All right, so Mr. Saxon, we're going to come back on February 17th for your discovery issues to see where we are.
Thank you, Your Honor, and that's all I have this morning in your court. May Mr. Saxon and I be excused.
Yes.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good rest of the week.
All right, thank you. You too.
And Happy New Year. It's good to see you.
Oh, Happy New Year to you too. And Mr. Saxon, you are excused. Albert Gutierrez.
Good morning, Your Honor. Albert Gutierrez for Stephen Colson. Conferred with the prosecutors, prosecutor Michelle Hayden, and we have agreed on a trial date as long as we have the court's approval.
Okay, let me find him on the docket. All right, what date?
March 22nd, Your Honor.
Okay, is your client in custody or in bond?
He's on bond, Your Honor.
All right, we're going to go briefly on the record. Court is calling 2020 CR 5338, State of Texas versus Stephen Colson. Can I have defense announced, please?
Albert Gutierrez for Mr. Colson.
All right, and are you Mr. Colson?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you were scheduled for a jury trial today, but because of the pandemic, jury trials have been canceled. Your new jury trial date that your attorney has conferred on is March 22nd. Is that correct, Mr. Gutierrez?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Colson, you'll need to appear in the 187 District Court on March 22nd, 2022 at 9 a.m. And you'll need to appear dressed for jury trial. The court is located at 300 De La Rosa. We are on the 4th floor. If for any reason jury trials are still suspended, your attorney will be informed. And if that's the case, Mr. Gutierrez, your attorney, of course, can appear by Zoom. With that, we'll close the record. Mr. Gutierrez, do you have anyone else with us?
I do not, Your Honor.
Then you and your client are excused.
Thank you, Judge. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, Adrian Perez on Cynthia Cavazos. For some reason, I don't even have her file. Is that her entire name, Cynthia Cavazos?
I believe so, Your Honor, and she is there in person, and it is a motion to adjudicate. And it was a brand new appointment to me, so perhaps that's why you don't have the file. But I did look online, and you are the lawyer that originally pled her out in 2015.
All right,
So
to the clerks, could I have file 2014 CR 4455, please?
Yes, Judge.
The clerks are bringing that to me. I don't have the file.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I will let the staff know that there needs to be a recusal on that case. And everyone, just give me a moment, please, while I sign paperwork. Thank you. All right, so on to the courtroom, could I have Ms. Cavazos come forward, please? All right, Ms. Cavazos, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, your case is going to be transferred to another court, and that's done on rotation because I'm going to voluntarily recuse myself since I represented you on your original case, okay?
Yes.
And Mr. Perez, just so track won't be lost of this case, I'm going to reset it for February 17th. You may get another date, but it should by then be transferred to whatever court it's going to be transferred to.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
All right, Ms. Cavazos, if you'll just wait in the courtroom to receive your reset form and then you're excused. Mr. Perez, do you have anyone else with us?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then you're excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, Matt Stohansky.
Yes, Your Honor. Can I go back in and talk to the state for a minute?
Okay. Let me see which breakout room. All right, could someone from the state go to breakout room number 3 to speak with Mr. Stohansky?
I will.
Thank you. All right, Christine McDonald.
Good morning, Judge. I need a trial setting date from Norma.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1. If you'll wait patiently in there for me, please, while I take care of these other cases. Mr. McCrum?
Yes, Judge, I received an offer from Marcus. Can I get a plea deadline setting, please?
All right, is your client in custody?
He is in custody.
All right, have you received all the discovery?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can we recall this back on February 17th as his plea deadline date? Oh,
Yes.
wait a minute. They say Carlos are you Carlos Garcia? Carlos Alejandro Garcia?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Norma, you say February 17th is okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so that's going to be your plea deadline date. Mr. Garcia, it's my understanding is that the offer has been tendered to you. Whomever you feel you need to talk to, you need to make sure that you've done that, because that will be your date to either accept or reject the state's offer. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. If there's nothing else, Mr. McCrum?
Nothing else, Judge.
All right, then you're excused. And Norma, you can let them know that 17F can go back.
Thank you.
All right, after I take up these last few cases, then I'm going to take up Alfonso Cabana's case. Robert Maurer.
Judge, I have a date from Norma on Jeremy Rothenay for trial for 3/29.
All right, is your client in custody or on bond?
He's not bond, Judge. He's logged on.
Okay.
We're still trying to find the other guy.
Okay. It's about to be a Monday.
It's been like this all week.
Yeah. All right, the court is calling 2019 CR 3013, State of Texas versus Jeremy Ray Rothenay. Can I have the defense announced, please?
Judge, this is Robert Maurer for Mr. Rothenay. We're ready for trial. We have a date from Norma of 3/29, and we'll be ready to go.
All right, Mr. Rothenay, your trial date was scheduled for today, but because of the pandemic, jury trials have been suspended. So your new trial date is March 29th. You'll need to appear in the 187th District Court on March 29th at 9 a.m. dressed for trial. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa, and it's the 187th District Court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, with that, we'll close the record. Mr. Rothenay, you are excused. Mr. Maurer, if you want to leave and check back in later to see if Mr. Hernandez shows up, we can do that.
I will. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right, Jonathan Watkins.
Yes, ma'am. I'm back. I was able to to confer with Norma. We have the date of March the 22nd for a trial, Judge.
March 22nd.
You say March 22nd?
Yes, ma'am. And I went through the court coordinated lane on that one, Judge.
All right.
I was cruising. Therapeutic. Some music, Judge, and cruise a nice car.
Okay. All right. The court is calling 2021 CR 2974 State of Texas versus Obed Urdalis. Could I have the defense announced for the record, please?
Your Honor, this is Jonathan Watkins for Mr. Urdiales. I'm present, and we have a trial date of March the 22nd, Judge.
Oh, March 22nd. All right. All right, Mr. Urdalis, you were scheduled for jury trial today, but because of the pandemic, jury trials have been suspended. Your new jury trial date will be March 22nd at 9 a.m. You'll need to appear dressed for trial in the 187 District Court. We're located at 300 De La Rosa on the 4th floor. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If for any reason jury trials are still suspended, your defense counsel will let you know, in which case you'll be able to appear by Zoom. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. You are excused. And Mr. Watkins, you're excused unless you have someone else with us.
That's it for today, Judge. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too,
Thank
Your Honor.
you, Judge. You have a wonderful day.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye. All right, Matthew Allen.
Yes, Judge. On Paul Donaldson, I got a trial date.
And is your client in custody?
He is, Judge.
All right. What's your jury trial date?
March 15th.
All right. We're going to go on the record. Court is calling 2019 CR 10115 State of Texas. I'm sorry, 2019 CR 10116 State of Texas versus Paul Donaldson. Could I have parties announced for the record for the defense?
Matthew Allen.
All right. And are you Mr. Donaldson? Mr. Donaldson, could you unmute? Just hold down the space bar. It's the longest key on the keyboard. All right. Are you Mr. Donaldson?
I am.
All right, Mr. Donaldson, I'm sorry, but the jury trials were suspended due to the pandemic. The earliest jury trial date I can give you is March 15th. You'll need to appear in court on March 15th at 9 a.m. dressed for trial. If for any reason you are still in custody, the clothing that you will be brought over in will be the clothing that you were in when you were arrested. If you wish to exchange those clothing for something else, you'll need to confer with your attorney, Mr. Allen. If for any reason there's an issue with the clothing exchange, let the court know. We'll see what we can do to facilitate that. However, Mr. Donaldson, if you're on bond, you'll need to come to court on March 15th at 9 a.m. dressed for trial. We're located at 300 De La Rosa on the 4th floor. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Donaldson. Mr. Allen, you're excused. Oh, I'm sorry, you have Mr. Simmons.
Yes, Judge. He's
All
on
right,
bond.
to the clerks, could you let them know that 17B, Mr. Donaldson can go back? All right, and you have Simmons.
Yes, Judge.
What is happening with Mr. Simmons?
We conferred, we have a trial date for Mr. Simmons of March 29th.
All right, the court is going to go on the record in 2021 CR 5899, State of Texas versus Darrell Simmons. Could I have defense announced for the record, please?
Matthew Allen for Mr. Simmons.
All right, just one moment. All right. My understanding that you conferred on a jury trial date, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is your new jury trial date?
March 29th.
All right, are you Mr. Simmons?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
All right, you were scheduled for a jury trial today, but because of the pandemic, jury trials have been suspended. Your new jury trial date will be March 29th at 9 a.m. You'll need to appear dressed for trial. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa, 4th floor. It's the 187 District Court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
If for any reason jury trials are still suspended, what will end up happening is your attorney will contact you and we will have you by Zoom. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. If you have nothing else with us, Mr. Allen, you're excused, and Mr. Simmons, you're excused.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, Alfonso Cabanas.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. Just let me assign a couple attorneys, then I will take up your matter. Mr. Churak, Kenneth Williams, is that criminal trial division or family violence?
It's criminal trial, Judge. We just need a reset trial date.
All right, then let me get back to you. Any other attorney who needs to be assigned and has not been assigned to a breakout room?
Judge, I would like to speak to the state on David Gonzalez. It's CTD.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, and who are the attorneys on Alfonso Cabanas' case, Mr. Enriquez?
Michelle Hayden for the state.
Okay. Okay, I'm trying to find your client. I guess they just list him as Victor. All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 8556. State of Texas versus Victor Manuel Enriquez. Can I have the parties announced for the record, please, for the state?
Michelle Hayden for the state.
For the defense?
Alfonso Cabañas for Mr. Enriquez.
And are you Victor Manuel Enriquez?
Yes. Yes, Your Honor, I am.
We're proceeding with sentencing by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Any objection from the defense?
No objection from defense, Your Honor.
All right, and the court will note for the record that the defendant entered his plea by video as well. The defendant entered a plea of no contest on December 1st, applied for deferred adjudication. The court found there is sufficient evidence to find him guilty. However, the court deferred finding of guilt as he applied for deferred adjudication. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 8 years. There is an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. The state is opposed to the defendant's application for deferred adjudication. There's to be no contact with Jesse Insall, INSALL, and there's an affirmative finding of family violence. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor. I reviewed it with my client this morning.
All right. And are there any objections to the PSI report, state?
No objections.
Defense?
None from defense.
All right, then. State, you're opposed to the defendant's application. You may proceed.
Judge, we don't have any witnesses to call, just argument.
All right, defense?
Your Honor, just argument, and I believe my client may want to address the court, but I'll leave it up to the court if it wants me to call him as a witness, or if the court just wants him to talk briefly about his plea for deferred adjudication.
All right, it's however you wish to proceed, Mr. Cabanas.
Okay, Judge, then what I'll do at this point is I will call Mr. Victor Enriquez as a witness.
All right, Mr. Enriquez, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. You can state your name for the record, please.
Victor Manuel Enriquez.
All right, defense?
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Enriquez, you're here this morning to be honest with the court regarding your plea for deferred adjudication, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
From the very beginning, Mr. Enriquez, you were honest and truthful to the probation officer when answering their questions, correct?
Yes, sir, I was and am.
And with regards to this often, Mr. Enriquez, you accepted responsibility and told the probation officer what happened on the date and incident, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Since you've been in custody, Mr. Enriquez, did you obtain some sort of certification or diploma?
I actually qualified for the GED program, and I actually got my GED.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Enriquez, would you tell the court regarding your marriage and your family situation, please?
Well, my ex-girlfriend, we're picking up, we're moving from the back house into our own.
No,
apartment.
just your situation. Who your wife is, how many kids you have?
I have 3 kids, sir. 5, 4, and 3 years older. I have no girlfriend right now, but my ex-girlfriend is allowing me to stay there during the process of probation to be able to take care of what I got to take care of, get out there to take care of my kids, sir.
Okay. When was the last time you saw your kids, Mr. Enriquez?
My 2 oldest I have not seen in about 4 months, sir. Their mother has not set up a visit. Actually, I haven't seen them since I came in. My youngest I saw maybe a month and a half ago because my ex-girlfriend recently caught COVID. So she is sick, hard pain off the bills right now. And so I hadn't seen her in about a month and a half. I had a scheduled visit with her on, I believe, a week ago exactly from today. And she was not able to log in, so I wasn't able to see her nor my son. But she's up in her visit for the 20th if I'm still here.
Okay. And Mr. Enriquez, how old are you?
I'm 24 years old, sir.
Okay. And you are aware that if the judge were to grant you deferred adjudication, any violation of the terms of probation, the court could sentence you up to the maximum on this offense.
I'm aware of that, sir. I'm willing to do whatever I have to do, get out there and take care of my kids, sir. That's all I want.
And you're also aware, Mr. Enriquez, that probation has identified you for either placement in an outpatient treatment facility or to receive treatment services. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir, I am. And I'm willing to take anything I have to take.
Okay. And just briefly, Mr. Enriquez, is there anything that you want to ask the court with regarding to your petition to be placed on deferred adjudication?
I just ask the court to please take into consideration if I may be able to get this deferred probation so I can be able to change my life around and for my children and myself, to better myself for my children and to get a job out there, be able to do something with my life and not just being here. This is a terrible place, man. It's been hard the past 7.5 months in here. I miss my kids most of all. I'm just ready to get out there so to turn my life around.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Enriquez. Now, hold on for a second. Ms. Hayden may ask you some questions, okay? Or the judge may.
Yes, sir.
All right, State?
Just a few questions. Mr. Enriquez, you admitted that on the date you shot at Jesse Insall, you'd consumed alcohol, cannabis, and cocaine. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you aware that Jesse said that before you shot at him, that you told him you were going to kill him?
No, ma'am, that is not true. I did not tell him that. It was a quick minute reaction and I shot to the ground.
Are you aware that that's what he said? That you said that you were going to kill him and then you shot at his direction?
No, ma'am, I was not aware of that.
Okay. But at any rate, you shot at somebody or in their direction after using all those substances. Is that correct?
Not at the direction, ma'am, at the ground.
Okay. And you shot more than once. This was multiple times. Is that correct?
3 times to be precise.
And you realize if things had gone differently, you could be in there looking at a murder charge instead of the ag assault.
Yes, ma'am. I now realize that and I'm regretful what I've done. Believe me, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
No other questions.
Okay. All All right, any other questions? Any follow-up questions, defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, any other witnesses from the defense?
No, Your Honor, just ready for argument.
All right, the court will hear argument. State?
Judge, we do not believe that this is a probation case. If the court reviews the evidence in this case, Ruth Barnett, one of the witnesses, said it appeared the defendant was trying to shoot the victim. A neighbor said that she was afraid of saying anything because she was in fear of retaliation from the defendant. The victim, Jesse Insall, said that the defendant said he was going to kill him before shooting at him. As the court has heard, this was multiple shots, and the defendant had used several substances before doing so. This wasn't a situation where the defendant just made verbal threats and exhibited a weapon. He actually shot the weapon and then went after and physically assaulted the victim. And because of that conduct, we think that this is a prison case.
Excuse me if I may, my defense.
Wait, hold on, Victor, hold on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, defense?
Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, we asked the court to follow the probation recommendation for probation or deferred. And here's why, Judge, to put it into perspective. So Mr. Insall at that time was, or I guess continues to be, Mr. Enriquez's father-in-law. Mr. Enriquez and his wife or baby mama were residing in the same household with Mr.
Mother of his
Insall.
child.
The mother of his child. Were residing in the same household, Your Honor, with Mr. Insall and his spouse. So there was 5 people living there. When this happened, Mr. Insall and his wife were actually moving their stuff out of the Insall household to move into their own apartment. It's my understanding that Mr. Insall and Mr. Enriquez disliked each other for several reasons. Apparently, Mr. Insall didn't believe Mr. Enriquez was a good boyfriend or husband for his daughter. And so they were yelling at each other while the moving was taking place. The PSI correctly reports that that is what happened. Mr. Enriquez and his girlfriend leave the residence, go to their apartment to unload some of their stuff. Mr. Enriquez's wife tries unsuccessfully to tell him, hey, stay home, don't cause any more problems. Let me just go get my stuff from my dad's house. Mr. Enriquez says, no, I'll go with you. I still need some stuff to unload from your car or into the car. So as that happens, he goes to the car. The report states that he doesn't go into the house, but he stays on the street. And then the PSI, again, correctly identifies that Mr. Insall, being the aggressor, is the one who was going at Mr. Enriquez while they were at the house moving. Unfortunately, Mr. Enriquez makes a bad decision, Your Honor. He tries to scare Mr. Insall by pulling out a handgun and, waving it, and then, of course, shooting to the ground, but away from Mr. Insall. And that is, to put it into context, how it happened. It wasn't something that was gang-related. It was, for sake of argument, Judge, a way of Mr. Enriquez keeping the larger Mr. Insall from getting into his face. It's also important to note, Judge, that the PSI makes a recommendation that they've tried numerous times to contact Mr. Insall to get his side of the story. And for whatever reason, they just were unable to speak with him, or Mr. Insall didn't speak with him intentionally. And so my argument, Judge, is Mr. Enriquez is 24 years old. He still has a long life ahead of him. He has 3 kids to take care of. I'm sure the court has heard, and I told this to Mr. Enriquez, numerous arguments regarding how jail has changed them, how they want to be better men, how they want to be with their families. But to me, Your Honor, the fact that Mr. Enriquez from the beginning admitted responsibility, told me exactly what happened on that day, shows that he means it, that he does want to be with his kids. And he is fully aware, Your Honor, that if the court were to give him deferred probation, any small violation, including any drug use, could subject him to the full range of punishment on this offense.
All right, so
with
this,
that,
the court has read the PSI report, and throughout the official version and the versions throughout that I'm seeing, it stated that there were warning shots. But this is the court's issue and what I would like to address. He fires warning shots. And after he fires the warning shots, according to the official version, then he goes up to the complainant and punches the complainant. That's the part that I want someone to address with the court. Because it says, according to the offense report, the defendant fired warning shots, 5 to 6 warning shots in order to intimidate the victim and then punch the victim. So that's the part I want someone to address with the court, the punching of the father-in-law. So who wants to address that?
Judge, I believe Mr. Enriquez would like to address that point for the court.
If you're recalling Mr. Enriquez, then he's more than welcome to address that point if you want to ask him some questions.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Enriquez, did you, after firing the shots to keep your father-in-law away, did you punch him?
Yes, we did get into a little wrestle, but it was not my intention. After I fired the warning shots, threw a gun to the ground, to the grass, and he came at me, continued to come at me, so I defended myself and swinging at him. Yes, I did hit him. I'm not going to sit here and lie. We did get into a little wrestle. It was less than 30 seconds, and I just did it in defense because he was still coming at me. I was standing by the car across the street still at the moment. I never left the side of the vehicle. I was parked across the street. He came running out from the backyard. That's when I fired the firing warning shots, 3 firing warning shots to the ground. And then he continued to come at me. So I threw a gun to the ground. I did not want to shoot him. It was not my intention to shoot him. It really wasn't.
So to make sure that the court reporter and the judge heard you correctly, after you fired the warning shots, Mr. Insall continued to, I guess, walk or run towards you, and that's why you punched him or to defend yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Enriquez.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Enriquez, are you aware that the report says he actually stopped going at you and you went after and punched him or struck him with a gun?
I was not aware of that, ma'am. Like I said, it was in the middle of the street by the time I shot the gun, and like I said, I never left the side of the vehicle on the driver's side, which is facing across the street.
And are you aware that a witness said that once you punched him and he fell to the ground, you continued to hit him multiple more times?
No, man, he did not even fall to the ground.
Are you aware that's what a witness said, though?
No, I was not aware of any of that.
Nothing else from the state?
All right. Thank
Nothing
you.
from the defense, judge.
All right. On this matter, Mr. Cabanas, I'm going to recall this back at 2. I need to think about the testimony that has been presented. So if everyone is available to come back at 2 at that time, I'll make my decision on whether or not I'm going to grant his application or not.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you have Victor come back at 2 p.m., please? So 16F can go back. All right. Megan Enriquez.
Yes, Judge. Our client is rejecting the current offer. Norma has given us a trial date of March 1st. It's Everett Gonzalez.
And everyone, I appreciate your patience. We're moving as quickly as possible. And so you said March 1st?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let me just find him on the docket.
Page 20, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, the court is going to call 2021 CR 0244, State of Texas versus Everett Gonzalez. Can I have the defense announce, please?
Megan Enriquez, present for John Kuntz, representing Everett Gonzalez.
All right, Mr. Gonzalez, you were scheduled for jury trial today. However, because of the pandemic, jury trials have been suspended. Your new jury trial date is going to be March 1st, 2022 at 9 a.m. You'll need to appear dressed for trial in the 187 District Court. The court is located at 300 De La Rosa. We're on the 4th floor. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Enriquez, do you or Mr. Kuntz have any objections to March 1st as the jury trial date?
No, Judge.
All right, that will be your date. You and your client are excused.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Matt Stohansky?
Yes, ma'am. The state has just tendered a misdemeanor offer, which my client wants to accept.
All right, and when is this going to take place?
I think she's working on the paperwork now, but I don't want to swear to that because I'm not.
Okay, all right, as soon as that's done, we will take that matter up. Mr. Perez, who is your client?
Judge, it's Summer Johnson, and I was hoping to visit with the DA regarding Summer Johnson. It's an MTR.
Is it criminal trial division or family violence?
CT, or you know what? I don't know the answer to that. It is, I guess, it's an assault family, so the family violence folks.
Okay. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4.
Great.
Christine McDonald.
Good morning, Judge. I have Joseph Contreras, and I've received a trial date of March 8th.
Okay, let me find your client. Is your client in custody or on bond?
He's in custody.
All right, let me see. I'm having problems finding him on the screen.
I think he's just under Joseph, Judge.
All right, let me see. Thank you. Yes. All right, what date?
March 8th.
All right, the court is calling 2020 CR 11338, State of Texas versus Joseph Contreras. Can I have defense announced, please?
Christine McDonald for the defendant.
All right, and are you Joseph Contreras? Could you unmute yourself, please? If you hold down the space bar, it's the longest key on the keyboard. It's the long bar on the keyboard. Do you have a, give me a thumbs up if you have a keyboard in front of you. All right, thank you. Are you Joseph Contreras?
No.
All right, have a seat, have a seat. Are you Joseph Contreras?
No.
All right. We were scheduled for jury trial today, but because of the pandemic, trials have been suspended. Ms. McDonald, do you have a new jury trial date?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what date is that?
March 8th.
All right, your new trial date is going to be March 8th at 9 a.m. If you are still in custody, you will be brought over dressed for trial. You will appear in whatever clothing you were arrested in. If you wish to have different clothing, you need to confer with your attorney for a clothing exchange. Ms. McDonald, if there are some issues with the clothing exchange, the court know, and the court will try to facilitate that. However, Mr. Contreras, if you are released from custody, you'll need to appear in the 187 District Court on March 8th at 9 a.m. dressed for jury trial. You'll need to appear dressed appropriately. Again, the courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa. It's on the 4th floor. Do you understand?
I understand.
And if for any reason jury trials are suspended again or are still in suspension, you will appear by video. Do you understand?
I understand.
All right, thank you. We'll close the record. Ms. McDonald, thank you for your patience. Mr. Joseph Contreras, thank you for your patience. Your excuse. Norma, can you let them know that 17D can go back? All right, Luis Martinez.
Judge, I'm present on Austin Young.
All right, I'll
I
send
could-
you. Yes,
conferred.
yes.
I've conferred with Mr. Sanders.
All right, what is happening with Mr. Young?
Okay, so Mr. Young's got the MTR and the new number one, which is the DWI. We just got blood results back. I'm looking to pull the old judgments on the underlying DWIs, and that should get us closer to a resolution. So, Judge, I'm asking for 30 days to get that together and get that resolved, but that should resolve both cases.
Okay, just give me a moment. Where's your client?
Judge, he's present. He's under U319AA.
Okay. All right, and does he
I'm
only
right here,
have?
Judge Boyd.
All right, thank you. Are you laying down, Mr. Young?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I'm sitting down. I'm sorry. Do I need to get up more? I apologize, Judge. I've had to come into work early. I'm in the office. I just realized that I totally forgot I had court this morning. So I was a little
We're good,
late.
Austin. We got you on.
All right, so
Yes,
here's
sir.
the thing, Mr. Young, when you appear in court, you're not allowed to be laying down or anything of that nature. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and so Mr. Young has more than one case. Is that correct, or he only has one?
No, Judge, he's got the MTR on the new case.
Is the new case indicted?
It's not indicted, but I think we may be able to work that out pre-indictment.
Okay. And so, and the new case, what is the new case? Because it's not on my docket.
It's a DWI third, Judge. And like I said, the state just got blood results in, and I'm getting the judgments because they're out of county on the underlying DWIs.
Let me see something, just 1 second. Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Young, can I have a 30-day reset, please? All right, we're going to come back on February 17th.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Are we excused?
Yes.
Okay, Austin, you can log off.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Guerrero.
Good morning, Your Honor. I've conferred with the state on both of my cases. I've conferred with Ms. Ferguson, and she's given us a date of March 29th.
What is your first case?
My first one is Arthur Scarborough, and he's under Arthur Scarborough on his Zoom.
And what jury trial date were you given for this case?
March 29th, Your Honor.
All right, we're going to go briefly on the record. In cause number 2019 CR 8528, State of Texas versus Arthur Scarborough. Could I have defense announced, please?
Monica Guerrero for Mr. Scarborough, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Scarborough?
Yes, I am.
All right, your previous jury trial date was set for today. However, because of the pandemic, jury trials have been suspended. Ms. Guerrero, my understanding that you've conferred over a new jury trial date, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, I have.
And what is that new date?
March 29th, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Scarborough, your new date is going to be March 29th. You'll need to appear in the 187 District Court on that date dressed for trial. The court is located at 300 De La Rosa. If for any reason jury trials are suspended still or resuspended, then you'll need to appear by Zoom instead of in person. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if there's nothing else, we'll close the record on that case. And Mr. Scarborough, you are excused.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who is the next person?
Adam Gonzalez, and he's under Adam Gonzalez, and he's under a Galaxy phone.
All right, and what is happening with Mr. Gonzalez?
He would like a trial as well, and we're going to be set for the same day, which is March 29th as well, Your Honor.
All right, we're going to go on the record briefly. Court is calling 2021 CR 0392, State of Texas versus Adam Gonzalez. Could I have defense announced, please?
Monica Guerrero for Mr. Adam Gonzalez.
And are you Adam Gonzalez? Could you unmute for me, please? All right. Are you Adam Gonzalez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you were scheduled for jury trial today. However, jury trials are suspended due to the pandemic. Ms. Guerrero, my understanding you were able to confer over a date, and that new jury trial date is March 29th. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Gonzalez, you'll need to appear dressed for trial in the 187 District Court on March 29th at 9 a.m. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa. It's on the 4th floor. And again, that's the 187 District Court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right,
Yes,
with
ma'am.
that, we'll close the record. Ms. Guerrero, do you have anyone else with us?
No, Your Honor.
All right, well, you're excused. Tell Joseph States, and where is he?
He's over there juggling other courts, so he's not very pleased with me today.
I told Joanne DeHoyos, I'm like, where's Joseph States? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, he's not here. But have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, just one moment. And Mr. Gonzalez, just give me one moment.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I meant Leo Gonzalez.
Uh-huh.
There are a lot of Gonzalez's on today, Leo.
Am I excused? Am I excused?
Who's asking?
Adam.
If
Gonzalez, Adam.
yes.
I was just on there with Monica.
Yes.
I was the last one.
Yes, you're excused.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. He looks completely different in the light. I'm like, no, that looks like somebody else. Am I wrong in that, Brenna?
No, I was confused too.
All right, I'm trying to find what page Adam Gonzalez was on so I can write this on the docket.
Page 20.
Thank you. I got it, thanks. All right, and Leo, just one moment. I know you've been very patient. I want to make sure that I have assigned every attorney that I've needed to assign. Joseph Acevedo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hi, who's your client?
I have, hold on one second, because I'm on another Zoom.
No problem.
Israel Castro.
Your
Honor, I'm here.
Trial Division of Family Violence. Mr. Acevedo, is it Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're on mute, Mr. Acevedo.
I apologize, I didn't catch that.
Is it Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence?
Criminal Trial Division.
Okay.
And there's a co-defendant with Attorney Ray Martinez.
Okay. All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 3.
Is that prosecutor that Ray Martinez has visited with, or?
I don't know, but they're able to hear you on the Zoom, so the correct prosecutor will go to that room.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. And Rusty Geyer?
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm just waiting to talk with Ms. Ferguson about a trial date. We were here for a trial. I've talked to Ms. Wilkes, and we have no resolution.
All right, I'm going to send you to number 1.
Thank you.
Sure. All right, and let me see. All right, and Mr. Gonzalez, just give me one, put a little bit more patience in your pocket. Just give me one thing to take care of real quick.
No problem.
Ms. Reyes, can I see you in breakout room number 2, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, everyone, I'm back. Thanks for your patience. Mr. Mamori, thank you for coming in promptly and so quickly. Ms. Ferguson, could you go to breakout room number 1, please, to give Mr. Rusty Gar his reset date? And Mr. Mamori, if you'll go to breakout room number 1 as well, and Ms. Ferguson will tell you what the case is. And then let me spotlight people so I can make sure that you're.
Am I excused from there?
No, Mr. Amir, when you come back, we'll see if your client is still going to be here or not. Ms. Ferguson will let you know. And Mr. Rodriguez, you have been extremely patient. So I'm sorry, Mr. Gonzalez, you've been extremely patient. I keep saying Rodriguez because you have Rodriguez. Okay, so your client, Manuel Rodriguez?
That's correct.
All right, so what is happening with Mr. Rodriguez?
So we've got a new trial date for March 22nd, Your Honor.
All right.
He was re-indicted.
So let me ask you this. I know he's been re-indicted and that you all want a jury trial, but I want to make sure that nothing new has been added. I don't know if it was re-indicted because there was some issue with the indictment or not. So what I want to do for his case, let me recall it.
Okay.
And we're going to recall it for February 17th. And can you make sure that there has been nothing new added to the indictment? And then that way I can make sure that everyone has everything.
That's fine, Your Honor. Yeah, that'll give us more than the 10 days with the new indictment to make an announcement.
Okay. So what we'll do, Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, Your Honor.
I want to make sure that you have everything and that your attorney has everything. So, oops, I'm sorry, everyone. Just give me one moment. My allergies are acting up. Just one second.
You have a minute, man, go to a breakout room to confirm.
All right.
Yes, I've been calling you.
Everyone, just one moment. Mr. Gonzalez, just one moment. My allergies are acting up. One second. Okay, I am back. I didn't know I was allergic to cedar until I came to San Antonio. I guess we don't have a lot of cedar in Louisiana. All right, so you are Manuel Rodriguez. Is that correct, Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, it's just that we have a Mark Anthony on the docket as well. So I'm assuming the case that was dismissed was the 2020 case, Mr. Gonzalez?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, so what we're going to do then, we're going to come back on February 17th, Mr. Rodriguez, to make sure that there's nothing new that's been added. And then at that time, if you're still requesting a jury trial, I will give you a jury trial date at that time. Do you understand, Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Gonzalez, that date will be your plea deadline date. And I'm just extending it just because of the re-indictment. And of course, if there is some new evidence that has been added to the new case, I'll reconsider my plea deadline date.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if there's nothing else, you're both excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. And to the clerks on Mr. Manuel Rodriguez's case, could you make sure that the file that has been dismissed remains with the court?
Yes, Judge.
All right, Rusty Geyer.
Yes, Judge. Ms. Ferguson gave us a trial date of 3/15. We were already here for trial, and Mr. Rosales has been admonished by the court.
All right, who is it's Judah Rosales?
Judah Rosales, Your Honor.
All right, we're gonna go briefly on the record. Court is calling 2021 CR 3711, State of Texas versus Judah Rosales. Can I have the defense announced for the record, please?
Ronald Geyer for Mr. Rosales, Your Honor.
And are you Judah Rosales?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you were previously set for jury trial today, but because of the pandemic, jury trials have been suspended. Defense, did you have a chance to confirm a new jury trial date?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
And what date will that be?
March 15th.
All right, Mr. Rosales, your new jury trial date is March 15th. It will be at 9 a.m. You'll need to come dressed for trial to the 187 District Court. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa. We're on the 4th floor. If for any reason jury trials are still suspended or resuspended, then you will need to appear in by Zoom. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry for that. There are chats that are coming up on the screen to me. All right, Mr. Geyer, you and your client then are excused.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. And everyone, if you could just give me a short moment, I need to go to a breakout room. Ms. Ferguson, I can meet you in breakout room number 1. All right, Gary Churack.
Yes, ma'am. I need to get a court date, new trial date.
All right, and this is on Kenneth Williams.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I will send you to breakout room number 1. Were you in a previous breakout room, Mr. Churack?
No, I wasn't. I've just been here sitting, waiting.
Kenneth Baker?
Yes, good morning, Judge. I spoken to Norma. We have a new trial date on the David Morales matter of
right.
February 22nd.
Just 1 second. And what date were you given?
February 22nd, Your Honor.
Okay. We're going to go on the record briefly. Court is calling 2018 CR 13307, State of Texas versus David Morales. Could I have an announcement for defense?
Eric Baker for Mr. Morales, who's present via video.
All right. Mr. Morales, could you unmute for me, please? Just hold down the space bar. It's the longest key on the keyboard. Look at your keyboard, Mr. Morales. Hold down the space bar. It's the longest key on the keyboard. Just hold it down. And Brenna, let me just tell you, not everyone took typing when they were in middle school, or as we called it, junior high. I chose to take typing. People said you would never need that. I'm like, you will need typing. Do you know there are so many people who cannot type? You know, comes in handy. All right, to the clerks, is there any way you can call over to the jail to see if Mr. Morales can get some help unmuting, please?
Yes, let me come over
Mr. Morales. Thank you. Mr. Morales, we're going to take care of it. Don't worry. You know, Kenneth, people were saying they were aging themselves when they were talking about different things. I always talk about Romper Room and the commercial E.F. Hutton. Do they even have E.F. Hutton anymore? You remember the E.F. Hutton commercials?
I remember them well. I'm dating myself too, aging myself, but I don't know if they have even exist anymore.
I don't know, but it was always like when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. I just remember as a young child, they would be in a busy restaurant, everyone would be talking.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden the people would say, well, E.F. Hutton says, then everybody would stop and like.
I remember well. I also remember.
Yeah, you do. I remember Romper Room too. You know, I always say when it gets too noisy, I should start saying E.F. Hutton, but I think we're the only people who have heard of E.F. Hutton.
Only a few of us would stop.
Yeah. Brenna, have you heard of E.F. Hutton? See, it's just us.
No, just.
Mr. Morales, let her know you need to unmute. Thank you. All right, are you Mr. Morales?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you were scheduled for jury trial today, but because of the pandemic, jury trials have been suspended. Your new jury trial date is going to be February 22nd. At that time, you will be brought over from the jail, dressed for trial. Court will start at 9 a.m. You will be brought over in whatever clothes you were arrested in or brought to the jail. If you want those clothing to be exchanged, you'll need to speak to your attorney about that. Mr. Baker, if there are any issues with clothing exchange, let the court know and we'll see what we can do to help facilitate that. However,
Sure.
Mr. Morales, if you're released from custody, then you'll need to come to the court on February 22nd at 9 a.m. dressed for trial. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa. It's on the 4th floor. Do you understand, Mr. Morales?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Morales, good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge.
If there's nothing else, we will close the record.
Thank you.
Matt.
Yes,
Morales?
Mr. Morales?
Yes. May I have a word with my attorney?
Yes, I'll send you to a breakout room to speak with your attorney. So, Mr. Morales, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3.
Okay.
And Mr. Baker, when you finish speaking to your attorney, if you could let him know, come back to the main room. And Mr. Morales, there's a deputy right behind you. Ask them to send you to breakout room number 3.
Okay.
Gary Chirac.
Can you send me to breakout
Yes,
room
ma'am.
number 3? Yeah, enter.
Yeah, we have a trial date, March 29th.
And is that Germanic?
Kenneth Williams, yes, ma'am.
And you say March 29th?
Yes, ma'am.
We're going to go briefly on the record. The court is calling 2019 CR 12531, State of Texas versus Germanic Williams. Defense, if you could announce for the record, please.
Gary Chirac for the defendant.
And are you Mr. Williams? Mr. Williams, could you unmute for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Germanic Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think I have the wrong Williams on the screen. Just one second.
The investigation, remember, I told you that the investigators came in, they put me on the time, and you charged is bringing that investigation.
Okay, that's correct, Germanic Williams.
Remember?
All right, Mr. Williams, you were scheduled for jury trial today. However, because of the pandemic, jury trials have been suspended. Mr. Cherick, you had a chance to confer on a jury trial date. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what date will that be?
March 29th.
All right, Mr. Williams, your new jury trial date will be March 29th. If you are in custody, you will be brought over from the jail, dressed in whatever clothing you were arrested in or whatever civilian clothing you have at the jail. If you wish to have other attire, you'll need to work with your attorney for a clothing exchange. Mr. Churek, if there's any issue with the clothing exchange, let the court know and we'll see what we can do to facilitate that. However, if you're released from custody, then you'll need to appear in court on March 29th, dressed for trial. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa. We're on the 4th floor. Do you understand, Mr. Williams?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Williams, thank you so much for your patience.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I want to know why my court date been set back so far.
Because jury trials have been suspended. Mr. Williams, we have something here that's happening in the world that people may not have heard of. It's COVID. It's a pandemic going on. So that is why. And what I can tell you in the 187 District Court, I make sure that the state has tendered an offer to defense counsel. I make sure that the defense has all their discovery so that they can proceed with your case. So what I can tell you is your plea deadline date was set on October 6th. And then that plea deadline date expired. Because of the pandemic, we set your jury trial for January 12th. So you were supposed to be in jury trial today, but because people did not follow COVID guidelines and rules, they decided to party over the holidays, not wear masks, not socially distance. Whether or not people take the vaccination or not, that's completely up to people. But the least people can do is wear a mask and socially distance. They did not do that. So because they did not do that, there was a spike in the COVID cases. And following medical advice, which we follow science, it was decided that the jury trials would be suspended. You understand? So there are no jury trials available. Now, if you would like a bench trial, and if your attorney agrees to the bench trial, if you agree to the bench trial and the state agrees to the bench trial, we can have a bench trial. But my understanding is that you want a jury trial, in which case your court date then will be March 29th, and that is the earliest we can get you, Mr. Williams, because we can only try one case at a time.
Yes, I understand that. I've been in jail for 29 months.
Okay, do you not understand that we've had COVID? How long do you think COVID has been in existence?
I just recently heard about it in 2019 or early 2020.
Well, you know, I don't choose when alleged offenses are alleged to have occurred. You know, if offenses would have occurred in 2016, of course, I would not have been here. But if you had offenses that occurred in 2019, you would have had your jury trial. But we are where we are, and we have to deal with where we are, and we have to be patient.
Yes, sir.
I know sometimes it's not easy to be patient because we want things to move quickly, but this is where we are. All right, Mr. Chirek, do you have anything else?
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Can I be excused?
I need to talk to my, can I talk to my attorney about getting me some clothes for trial?
Yeah, Germanic, I will,
I just need some documents.
I've sent your attorney to breakout room number 2. He's going to breakout room number 2. And Mr. Williams, I will send you to number 2.
Wow.
Derek Evans.
Hello, Judge. Can I go in a breakout room with Mr. Briggs?
All right, let me see where Mr. Briggs is. All right, Mr. Briggs, if you'll go to breakout room number 10, please. And Mr. Evans, if you'll go to 10.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Joseph Acevedo.
Yes, Your Honor. May we be put on the trial docket with the co-defendant's date? We're just not sure what date you gave.
All right, Mr. Acevedo, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1 for a date. Ms. Ferguson, could you go to breakout room number 1, please?
Thank you.
All right, Roger Perez.
Judge, I'm here on Summer Johnson. Joe Ray and I have conferred. Ms. Johnson is here. I think it's just to go open on an MTR plea. It's an issue about a failure to identify.
All right, so what you'll need to do is make sure you put that in the chat box to Ms. Ferguson. She'll get you the paperwork and we'll start as soon as that is ready. And everyone, I'm going to sign some paperwork. Mr. Stohansky, let me know when you're ready on Mr. Jerome Kizzard.
Your Honor, I haven't received the paperwork yet to sign, so
I sent it, Matt.
To M. Law?
No, still,
Okay.
I'll show you what I have.
And so everyone just give me a
That's correct.
Hey, Your Honor,
Yes.
on the Matt Stolhansky's paperwork, he has signed it, but I sent the defendant's paperwork to Deputy Laura's email because he's in the courtroom.
All right, Deputy Laura, could you check to see if the email is there, please?
Yes, Your Honor, I have it here.
All right, thank you. Mr. Stolhansky, do you need to speak to your client about that paperwork?
Probably should go over with him.
All right, so to the courtroom, if you could go to breakout room number 1, and Matt Stolhansky, if you'll go to 1, please. And thank you. And Roger Pettis, on your case, I'm still waiting for the paperwork. So once I have the paperwork, we'll take that matter up.
Judge, if I may briefly give you the date on Israel Castro, March 29th, 22, March
Yes.
29th, 22.
One moment. All right, we're going to go on the record briefly. Mr. Castro, you need to stop speaking to whomever you're speaking to. Israel Castro. So your client appears not to be paying attention to what's going on, Mr. Acevedo.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
All right, the court is calling 2019 CR 6497B, State of Texas versus Israel Castro. Can I have defense announced, please?
If we may remain on the docket, Your Honor, and the date of March.
If you could
29th,
state your
22.
name for the record, Mr. Acevedo.
Yes, Your Honor. Attorney Joseph Acevedo, Your Honor. We may remain on the trial docket. The date I was given is March 29th, 22.
All right, and are you Israel Castro?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you were scheduled for jury trial today. However, jury trial has been suspended due to the pandemic. And so your new jury trial date is going to be March 29th, 2022. Mr. Acevedo, do you have any objection to that as the jury trial date?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Castro, you'll need to appear in court at the 187 District Court. It's located at 300 De La Rosa on March 29th at 9 a.m. and you'll need to appear dressed for trial. If jurors are still suspended, then your attorney will let you know, in which case you'll appear on Zoom. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Acevedo, if you don't have anything else with us, you and your client are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Edmonds.
Hi, Judge. I talked with Marcus on Mr. Briggs. There was some video evidence that we're missing. He told me that Marcus told me it's uploaded. So we're going to double check again to see if it's uploaded, because we downloaded everything, but it was not there before. So I checked again yesterday. It was not there yesterday. So we're going to re-download everything again and see if it's in there. The other issue, Judge, is Marcus told me he did get a hold of the complaining witness this morning, or his advocate did, but the individual basically hung up on the advocate and was very uncooperative. So Marcus wants to try and reach out to the person on his own. If the complaining witness is acting the same way towards Marcus, I think the case likely will go away. So I'd like to get a short reset for these reasons, but maybe on either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week if the court's available.
All right, let me see if Ms. Ferguson. Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Briggs, are we able to bring this back next week, Tuesday or Wednesday?
I can do
Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever day Mr. Edmonds is available.
Mr. Emmons, January 19th or January 20th?
Let's do the 19th, Judge, if we can do that day.
All right,
Actually,
well,
I'm sorry, Judge, the 18th. Let's do the 18th.
all right. Mr. Briggs, we're going to bring you back on January 18th.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your patience. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you, Mr. Edmonds.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day.
All right, thank you. You too. Norma, can you let them know 17G can go back? Mr. Briggs, don't leave. People are walking around. It's like, that's how they get in trouble at the jail. They don't like them walking around. So we'll see what happens. All right, we'll see you back on the 18th, Mr. Evans.
All right, Judge, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too. Mr. Baker?
Yes, Judge, I just met with my client. I think you asked us to come back here after I was done, if I'm not mistaken, so.
Yes, just so that we can excuse your client, because your client already has his court date, correct?
Yes, yes.
All right, Norma Morales can go back. He's 17A. All right, thank you, Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Judge. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.
All right, you too.
Your Honor, I need the video consent form.
All right, just put that in the chat box to Miss Ferguson. She'll get that to you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Avery, who is your attorney? You're on mute, Mr. Avery.
Oh.
Mr. Avery, who's your attorney?
Daniel Villa.
All right, just give me a moment. And Ms. Ferguson, can you see if Daniel Vela can come back for Mr. Michael Avery, please? And Mr. Avery, if you can call Mr. Vela.
Okay. Do I sign off and then call him, or?
Yes, you can sign off and call him, but make sure you sign back in, all right?
I will.
All right,
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. And Ms. Ferguson, when you get a chance, could I see you in a breakout room, please? Number 1. All right, Tony Hernandez, is your client is,
William Benjamin, Judge.
okay. Is it criminal trial division or family violence?
It's CTD.
All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 3.
Thank you.
And Roger Perez, Ms. Ferguson doesn't have your client's email address. So you can put that in the chat box. And is your client on Zoom or in the courtroom? I think I'm talking to myself. Yes, Roger Perez, is your client in the courtroom?
Oh, Judge, I didn't realize you were asking me that question.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
this is like
no,
a
she's
taxi
on
drive
Zoom.
or taxi
Summer
moment.
Johnson
Are you
is-
talking to me? Yeah.
The taxi driver. No, she's in a breakout room, so I told her just to wait there. Do I
Oh, no. So Norma needs her email address.
give me 1 second? Judge, we will get it and text it to Norma here within a minute.
All right, thank you.
Michelle or Caitlin or Joe Ray, Tony's case is actually family. So he's waiting for one of y'all.
Okay, I'll hop in.
Hi, Robert Maurer. You know, you can never make plans.
This always happens. It's particularly frustrating on these Zoom deals.
Yeah. All right.
Judge, on Geronimo Hernandez, Michelle gave me some new evidence this morning along with the plea offer. And I'd like to see if based on the new evidence, if you give me a couple weeks or 30 days so I can talk to him about the new evidence. It would be something the state would want to use at trial as probably a guilt innocence as well as punishment.
Okay. Let me find your client. Mr. Geronimo Hernandez?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you need to make sure that you're on time for court. It's pretty easy to be on time for court when you're by Zoom, right? Because
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
not requiring you to appear in person. So wherever you may be, you just have to turn on your Zoom. This should be one of the most important things in your life. You understand?
Yes, it is, Honor. Yes. I
All right,
understand.
so we're gonna come back on February 17th, Mr. Maurer.
Thank you, Judge.
And I'll extend your plea deadline date because of the new evidence. And on February 17th, unless you, depending on what happens, unless you say, I don't want a plea deadline date, I want to go directly to trial, then I'll give you a trial date. But if you want a plea deadline date on that date, I will give you a plea deadline date on that date.
All right, thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. You and your client excused. See you back on February 17th.
John, will call the office, please.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, let me give this to you. You're welcome. All right, we're ready on this. Mr. Kizert?
Judge, it's Kazart.
Kazart, thank you. I keep saying that.
It's kind of a funny spelling. He's in the courtroom.
Face forward.
All right, thank you.
Yes. sir.
Who is the prosecutor on this, please?
I am Judge.
It's not going to do it today. All right, the court is calling 2019 CR 4695, State of Texas versus Jerome Douglas.
Kazart.
Kazart. Can I have the parties announced for the record for the state,
Meredith McIntyre for the state.
for the
Matt
defense?
Solansky for Dr. Kazart.
And are you Dr. Kazart?
Yes, I don't see you. I mean, myself. There I am.
Sorry, he needs to speak up.
Yes, you need to speak up, sir.
Yes, I am.
All right, we're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'm showing you, Mr. Kazart, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, I did.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. The court will note for the record that the defendant is present in the courtroom. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, I did.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case? And did you review that discovery with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Kizart, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, ma'am.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, we will be waiving count 1. And on count 2, we're proceeding on the lesser included offense of attempted possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, and an amount less than 1 gram.
And we have no objection, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Kizart, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishment of Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, I did.
Did you understand the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of attempted possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram? That's a class A misdemeanor. The range of punishment is anywhere from a year in the Bexar County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Absolutely so.
Mr. Kizar, has anyone threatened you, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Absolutely.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, I am.
Court will find the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of attempted possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. There's a $1,500 fine. The state recommends deferred adjudication. There's to be restitution to Bexar County Laboratory for drug testing. There's to be no contact with Sandra, Sandra, Arona, Orona. There's to be no contact with Alicia Arona. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm going to show you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? And the only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 2 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 100 hours of community service restitution, the DOEP course, the MRT, and regular UAs. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offense, the lesser included offense of attempted possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
State offers State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
Any objections?
I've reviewed my client, Your Honor. We have no objection.
All right, Mr. Kizar, I'm showing you what's entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. How the court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, please.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor, quite a bit, actually. I've known Dr. Kazart for 20 years. He's a personal friend of mine. We go hunting together. We go hang out at my ranch together. He was a doctor over in the combat zone in the Middle East for many years. He's a retired lieutenant colonel. He now practices as a emergency room physician in rural counties. Comanche, I think, is where Comanche, Texas, where he's working now. So he has to travel quite a bit. I'm asking you to take these things into consideration in the sentence. And also that he be allowed to travel to and from the hospitals in which he works.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. Are you talking about whether or not we agree to let him travel to the hospitals?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll agree with that.
Okay. All right, then the court will sentence you to a $1,500 fine. That will be probated. 2 years deferred adjudication. There's to be no contact with Sandra Arona, Alicia Arona, 100 hours of community service restitution. 40 hours of those will be waived if you provide proof that you've obtained the COVID vaccination. Court is not requiring anyone to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be deducted. The court will not allow you to buy out those hours. The DOEP course, the MRT, regular UAs, or either he can do a patch. There's to be regular Zoom reporting. If something happens and you can't report by Zoom, you'll need to report in person. There's to be random field visits 1 time per month and restitution to Bexar County for laboratory testing. There's to be proof of employment. Within 15 days. And is his employment aware of this?
Doc?
No.
All right, what is this going to remain a secret? They're going to have to be made aware of this.
Oh, the DEA is the only one that is been notified of this on his license.
All right, and Mr. Kizard, if you drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Negative.
Okay. There's going to be proof of employment within 15 days. There's to be, yes, Mr.
He's a contract employee. He works at the different hospitals. He can send you his W-2s from those, but he doesn't have an employer or an agency he works for.
Oh, no, he'll have to provide whatever proof probation needs, and that there's an issue over the proof that's provided, just let the court know. There's to be no, yes, Mr. Stohansky?
And I apologize, Your Honor, I don't mean to interrupt you. He's also retired, receives his VA retirement. He's retired from the military. How old are you, doctor?
I'm sorry, say it again.
How old are you?
65.
So he receives that money as well, so.
Okay, all right, there's to be no employment with minors. And what I mean by that is that you are not allowed to be the only person who's working with minors. Do you understand, Mr. Kizart?
The only person working with minors?
Yes, what I mean, usually what I order for people is I order them, they're not to be a home healthcare provider. So are you a home healthcare provider?
No, I'm not.
All right, so you're not allowed to be a home healthcare provider, and you're not allowed to work with minors. By that, I mean, you're not going to be in charge of supervising minors. You're not to work at a group home for minors where you're supervising. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
All right, Rebecca, is there anything else he needs?
Judge, were you going to approve the travel for work?
Yes. And you are allowed to travel for work. All right, anything else that he needs, Rebecca?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Kizard, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
Yes, on the travel, my mom's home burnt down in St. Louis. And my sister and I are alternating, trying to get there to help her out. Is that going to be a problem?
No, just let probation know. And probation will send me an order asking me if you're allowed to travel to help with your the movement of your mom's things or home. And your attorney will send documentation to the court.
You call me, Doc, I'll explain.
Okay.
All right, next I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Kizart, you're a doctor, and here's the thing about that. You are held to a high standard. So you cannot be doing these types of things because people depend on you and you're put in a position of trust. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
All right, so if you'll just have a seat in the courtroom, probation will be with you shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let me see. And Mr. Stohansky, unless you have something else with this, if you want to stay for probation and go over conditions with him, you can.
No, ma'am.
All right, then you are excused.
Thank you for a lovely morning.
You're welcome. We try to make it pleasant.
You have a good day.
All right, you too. Court is calling 2017 CR 10483, State of Texas versus Summer Johnson. That party is announced for the record for the state.
Joe Ray Garcia.
Roger Bettis for Summer Johnson, Your Honor.
And are you Miss Johnson? You need to unmute.
Yeah, Your Honor, you hear me?
Yes. Are you Summer Johnson?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
None, Your Honor.
Ms. Johnson, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it, and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Summer A. Johnson who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2017 CR 10483 for the offense of assault, family choking, strangulation on March 9, 2018 for a period of 3 years and extended for a total of 2 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state.
On or about the 17th day of September 2021, in Tarrant County, Texas, the defendant, Summer A. Johnson, committed the offense of failure to ID in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
All right, state.
Violated condition number 7 on or about the 17th day of September 2021, in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant, Summer A. Johnson, departed Bexar County without the written permission of the court and or supervision officer in violation of condition number 7.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State waives the remaining allegations, Your Honor.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No objections, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of conditions 1 and 7, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of conditions 1 and 7?
Yes.
Court will find violation of condition 1 and 7 true. Is there an agreement?
It was an open plea of true, Your Honor.
All right, state, what are you requesting?
Your Honor, the state is requesting adjudication revocation in a sentence term of 2 years. This is the defendant's third motion to revoke. Her last one was on 2/24/21, and she was extended 2 years. So for those reasons, we believe that she's exhausted the options of probation by not applying and request the 2-year sentence.
All right, and defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, we would ask that you would consider continuing her on probation. This is indeed her third entry. The first one happened right after she pled in July of 2018. Then the subsequent happened in July of 2019. And then you were nice enough to extend it for 2 more years. But I just have some response regarding some of the issues that are put before the court, if I may, Your Honor.
All right, well, this is what we're going to do. Ms. Johnson, where are you currently located? Are you in
San
Bexar
Antonio.
County? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're going to resume this hearing at 2 p.m. Ms. Johnson, you'll need to appear in the 187 District Court at 2 p.m. today. It's located at 300 De La Rosa. We're on the 4th floor.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. 2 p.m.
All right, so we'll be back at 2.
At 2 o'clock in the court, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, are the parties ready on Avery? And this is going to be our last case before we take our break for lunch.
Was that for me, Your Honor?
Yes, Daniel Vela.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Your Honor. Adrian Arias. I came in late.
All right, so Mr. Vela is not here, everyone. It's been a long day. We're going to take our 2 o'clock break. So if everyone could come back at 2 p.m., please. Mr. Avery, the court does have all of your paperwork. So we'll take you up first thing at 2 p.m., okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it, ma'am.
You're welcome. All right, everyone, we'll see you back at 2. Mr. Langlois, if you could zoom back in at 2 o'clock, please.
Judge, my client is bedridden, from what I understand.
I'm sorry, what?
My client is bedridden.
No, he's here on Zoom outside.
He's on Zoom now?
Yes, so he's fine. So we'll see you all back at 2.
Your Honor, what about me?
Yes, that's you. We'll be back at 2 p.m.
Also, great, thank you.
Judge,
All
I
right,
think
thank
that's
you.
Martin Guerra's client.
Okay, all right, well, everyone, we'll be back at 2 o'clock. And Mr. Langlois, we'll be back at 2.
Judge, can I go to a court, breakout room with the courtroom to go over Mr. Kazart's application?
Yes. All right, everyone, we're going to stop.